How's it going? My name's Sean. I'm a full-time clothing eBay reseller, and in today's video, we're gonna go into eBay, find some items we can resell. Hopefully you can find these in your local thrift stores. Let's get into it. All right, so the first thing I wanna talk about today is sweaters, and it's probably gonna be the main thing we talk about. Just because winter's coming, we wanna start finding some of these sweaters in the men's category and just see what's out there that's of the most value. So obviously, you know, designer stuff, those name brands are going to be good, but I'm kind of looking for the mid-tier stuff, the things that people overlook at the thrift store that we may be able to make a profit on. So sweaters, men's, we have 650,000. Okay, I think I'm going to change this to long sleeve sweaters just because I don't want to get like sweater vest confused. Okay, so 400,000 plus. Now we're talking. And what I like to do is a generic search, I call it, and then we'll go to sold comps completed, and we'll search it up and see. So out of 400,000, 67,000 have sold in the last 90 days. Now, mind you, this is the summer months that these sold in, so these are probably pretty strong items. Let's sort from high to low, see what comes up. So we have vintage Harley Davidson. I don't know why this one showed up with $5,000 in shipping from Australia. Vintage, dang, look at that, Nike. Michael Jordan. I almost said Mikey Jordan. Here's that Indian head, the grail of Ralph Lauren. Coogie is one I have found in the past. I know there's a Coogie one that is, I think Biggie Smalls wore it, and that one goes for a lot of money. But yeah, Coogie is pretty awesome to pick up. I sold mine for, I think it was $200, but it was not this cool of colors. It was like a brown and like beige. Okay, so obviously really cool stuff. But if you notice, most of these are Coogie. Like a lot of these have been Coogie. There's Brioni. Once you sell enough men's clothes, you'll start understanding some of these names, and you'll see them, you know, Louis Vuitton, Gucci, Chanel. Okay, so let's kind of switch it up because you're probably not going to find one of these at the thrift store. If you do, it's going to be an extremely lucky find. But more often than not, you're going to find something in like the $100 max price range. So let's go there and run the search. All right. And you know what? I want to get rid of like all the European sellers. I want to just do United States because the shipping kind of throws me off a little bit. So we'll just do US only, and then we'll run the search. Okay, so 53,000. We're not going to necessarily look at the sell-through rate exactly on these until we find certain brands because I want to just find like the brands that are selling for this high because it's going to be a different sell-through once winter starts because the demand will be much higher. So here we go, Fair Isle. That is actually like, I call it Christmas print, and I think it has something to do with this striping. Still not 100% sure on that. Looks like we have, I've never heard of that one. Looks like kangaroo, but it's MRU, Australia. Let's see. Still some ones that I like haven't seen very often. Now here is the brand. It's called Issa, I think, and I have found that one before, but not in a sweater. It's a button down. Here's a Filson. Now, when it comes to sweaters, something to look for is the material. You'll start seeing a lot of these are probably going to be silk, wool. You kind of want to stay away from some of the cotton stuff and some of the polyester stuff. I mean, not that it can't sell, but wow, look at this one, this rare Coogie. Somebody probably, look, they put that on bid. You probably could have bought this and resold it for like $400. So that might be something you can do too. I wonder if there's any flaws in that one, but here's a vintage ski sweater. It's pretty cool. Here's a crazy looking horse. I'm still seeing a lot of stuff that like I just wouldn't see very often at the thrift store. There are these Peter Millar. Okay, so yeah, Peter Millar is going to be a good one. Let's continue on. I'm still not seeing it. So this was more of like the Coogie one that I had. They put Cosby style, but I got $200 for mine, so they kind of not really cheap sold, but you know, maybe they sold it in the summer so they took less money. But yeah, here's another one. So wow, maybe Coogie's one you can snipe and resell. Because like if I had this in my shop, like you could probably put $200 on it easy and sell it, even in Texas where it's not even that cold. All right, so here's a Microsoft's ugly Christmas sweater. I wonder which one, what brand is this one? I wonder if this is even Microsoft brand or if it's just like a Microsoft or like a Walmart one or something. Interesting. Yeah, look at this. This is pretty interesting. Now, I don't know if it's copyright stuff, if it's actually Microsoft, but man, that sold for $100. So let's kind of switch it up. We'll change gears one more time. And I'm going to go to something a little more reasonable, like let's say $40 max price. Now, these sweaters at the thrift store are typically going to be like $8 to $12. Sometimes they'll be like $20, but they're typically going to be around the $8 to $10 mark. So 8 and 10 into 40, that is still decent enough. Oh yeah, and the viewers were talking about like minus lot, and I was putting lots last time. So let's see if this gets rid of the lots. 0 search results. You guys, if you comment, look, I put minus lot, there's no space. Now I'm going to put a space and see if it changes anything. It just shows lots with minus space. So I'm still on the fence with how to use the minus feature on eBay, and I don't care to like figure it out now. So we're just going to press forward. Here's a Patagonia sweater. This is chinchilla fleece. Now they did $20 shipping, and it was one bid. So that is, it's a yellow one. Usually you want to get like the cooler colors. That is one that you'll probably find. See how it's got the snap button in front? Ooh, here's a Eddie Bauer one. So Eddie Bauer is definitely a brand that gets passed on a lot. A lot of people just hate on Eddie Bauer for some reason. But yeah, that tag doesn't even look that particularly old. Okay, so it is made in USA, but the tag doesn't look that old. Anyway, so yeah, I guess that's vintage, made in USA, 90s. 90s is vintage now, everybody. So we have a FUBU sweater. It's got Fat Albert theme. So that's kind of a collab between like pop culture and, you know, sweater. Here's Carhartt. Here's Nintendo. Dang. Okay. Let's see. Patagonia. So we've seen a couple Patagonias. Dale of Norway. So one thing to look for too whenever you're looking up these sweaters is if it's from one of the Nordic countries. Now I know this brand is Dale of Norway, but I wonder if it's actually made in like one of those countries. This actually kind of looks like a women's too. It says men's, but yeah, so it doesn't really say, and that's okay. But yeah, if you find one that's made in a Nordic country, you have a better shot to sell it for sure, even if you're unaware of like the brand. And maybe even if the sell-through isn't like that great. Here's Outer Known. I feel like I've heard that on YouTube before. Psycho Bunny. Huh, I didn't know they made sweaters. There's another Eddie Bauer Fisherman. A lot of the Eddie Bauer Fisherman stuff. Here's Ann Crafts. I've definitely sold Ann Crafts before. It's definitely been a while though. So, yeah. And see how it's made in Ireland. 100% merino wool. And I know there are a lot of people on here that know chunky knit, cable knit, all the different knits. That'll definitely help the title and all that, but I don't put it. Here's Freddy Krueger. See how they use Freddy Krueger in this? I wonder if this is actually like Halloween Freddy Krueger, like a costume. Yeah, no, it's just a sweater, and you can't even see what the brand is. But because it does have that look, they put Freddy Krueger. So as a costume, that is something to look forward to. Think of like costume stuff. So I sell a lot of the military flyer coveralls, and you can put like Halloween in those when it gets towards that time if you want, or you can put costume because people will just want to be a pilot because it's an easy costume to dress up in. Here's another LL Bean. Bill Blass. I've been picking up Bill Blass. I did not know they had sweaters. I've done some of their shirts, the button-ups, and I've done some of their pants. This is made in USA. Bill Blass. Yeah, I've definitely not seen that one. So this is a cardigan. A cardigan is another one we can kind of, because it's like cardigan sweater, but at the same time, like you can just look up cardigan, and they have a pretty strong sell-through. I've sold Abercrombie & Fitch cardigans. I've sold American Eagle cardigans. Some of those lower-end brands I've sold in the cardigan style. So definitely a lot of money to be made. Here's another LL Bean. That one's pretty cool looking. Here's a Gucci sweater. I've sold this one, Enos Free. I hope that's how you say it. Let's see what the tag looks like. Trying to familiarize myself. Yeah, see, made in Ireland. And see how it has the same structure kind of as like the script that they use as the other company. So I don't know if those companies are in cahoots with each other, but they definitely have the same font. Maybe they have less fonts over there. So here's a Jiaropack style. So I wonder if that one via Europa, but they put Kugi style. So that's kind of like keyword spamming if it's not truly a Kugi. Kugi is going to be notorious with the 3D print. Not 3D print, but it's like textured. See how that one says 3D knit, mercerized. Anyway, yeah, see how it's like 3D? Very cool. But yeah, via Europa. So interesting. I've yet to come across that one, but that's definitely one that if you just saw the brand, you'd probably be like, I don't know if that brand's good because I've never heard of it, but because it has that look, that's what people are looking for. Here's Calvin Klein. That's more of like a pullover zip jacket. Obermeyer, ski wool. Okay. Yeah, so Arnold Palmer. This is pretty cool looking. Arborwear, Ralph Lauren. This is a heathered gray jacket. We're looking for like just the old sweaters. LL Bean. So yeah, you're kind of seeing a lot of the same. It's Ralph Lauren, LL Beans, some of the Nordic ones, Northern Isles. Now, what is this one? So I don't know if it's branded Northern Isles or, yeah, see? So this brand is Portraits. And did they even use it in the title? No. So that goes to show that they're selling off of style. And that takes an experienced seller to identify that, look, this is cool enough. It says knitted by hand on it. And they were able to use that. Look, knit, handmade. They could have capitalized the K here. Vintage, Northern Isle. That's the pattern, I guess, is along the bottom. And the cuffs is what they're talking about. Then they use Cosby sweater. So yeah, they use tons of keywords. I wonder who the seller is. I wonder if they're... Let's just check out their store. Whoa, it's a little child. Okay, so they are an everything seller, and yeah, they have figured that out. Here's a bunch of stuff. Okay, CRT television. I'm not packing up any more of those, even though they do sell. I'm not doing it. I'm done with that life. All right, let's see. Where are we at here? Here's a Masters Augusta. Here's another one using Coogie style. So that's Murano. Let's check this one out. And honestly, if you saw this in a thrift store, definitely put it in your cart and take a second to look at it. So look, made in Bulgaria, so it's not made in USA. You might be like, oh, this is Murano, it's a terrible brand, but you have to think like this is the style, and especially because it's like vintage Y2K stuff, like this is going to be the look people are going for. The youngins, the ones with that allowance money. Here's LL Bean military pullover. Like that patching is pretty notorious with some of the military stuff. Let's see. Patagonias again. Here we go. Coogie style. And let's see what brand this is. So I'm going to be hunting for all this stuff. And so is everybody else. So, yeah. Alan Stewart. So, and I feel like I've came across a couple of these at the tail end of like when it was turning into spring, when they have just a little bit left on the rack. So definitely be aware of that changeover in the thrift stores because they're going to put all these out and they're going to eliminate most likely the shorts. And they'll just have these instead of that shorts. Here's Riverview Cable Knit, Chunky, Gap, United Colors of Bennington. Okay. Forge House. Yeah, and this is all great sales. Like, you're going to be able to find some of this stuff, especially if you kind of look at style as opposed to just brand. Like right here, for example. Cotton Traders. I have seen Cotton Traders. I've not seen this tag, though. But, yeah, this is that... Let's call it Fugi. Fugi, fake Coogie. But look, it's still sold for $38 plus $15.45 shipping. I don't know if they accepted an offer. No, they didn't. So that is what we're going for. And you may find one of these a week. Maybe each store has one. Maybe you can look up on Marketplace and see. Or you could knock on doors and say, hey, does anyone have a Bill Cosby sweater they want to sell me? And give them $5 for it. Now, don't solicit people, but there's definitely these hanging in closets. Maybe estate sales is the place to find some of these. I have done really well with sweaters at estate sales, and we hope to film some of that moving forward. But I hope you guys enjoy this little taste. I know I didn't go too into the like sell-through rate of the different things, but I think we got a general idea of what to look for this winter coming up. So be prepared, find the good stuff, and I'll see you next time. Look at you standing. Look at you standing, buddy. Nice work, son.